In the 2023 limited series Creature, we see a Turkish retelling of the story of Frankenstein. In the end of the first episode, we see that the town that Zia is from is suddenly experiencing an outbreak of cholera. Zia and his father, as the medical professionals of the village, are attempting to help everybody. They're shouting at them to boil water, telling them to stay away from those who are sick. After all of that, we have the tragic scene of realizing the destruction that the cholera outbreak has wreaked upon this village. We see that the townspeople are not even being allowed to bury their dead because the germs are still present. They're still there. There is still danger to these people. And they're understandably upset that they're not going to be able to bury their own dead. Today on Geek Devotions, we're talking about holiness and how abstaining from sin is important. Hello and welcome to Geek Devotions, a show from devoted geeks who are devoted to letting people know that they are loved. I am Celeste, and we are so glad that you have hit play today. Just so you know, in case you just came across this video, we want you to know, even if you don't watch anything else from this channel, from this video ever again, you're loved. We love you. God loves you. You are loved. Like we said in the intro, the people of the village are legitimately and understandably upset that they are not able to bury their own dead. But what they didn't understand is that the danger was still there. It was still present. It was still active. They could potentially end up beside their loved ones simply because they were not listening to the people who were saying, hey, stay away from that. It's dangerous. We see in 2 Peter, picking up with 11, that it says this: Dear friends, I urge you as foreigners and exiles to abstain from sinful desires, which wage war against your soul. Live such good lives among the pagans that though they accuse you of doing wrong, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day He visits us. Submit yourself for the Lord's sake to every human authority, whether to the emperor as the supreme authority or to governors who are sent by him to punish those who do wrong and commend those who do right. Commend those who do right. For it is God's will that by doing good you should silence the ignorant talk of foolish people. Live as free people, but do not use your freedom as a cover-up for evil. Live as God's slaves. In this situation, Peter is telling believers to be aware of their surroundings, to hold fast to the teachings of God, so much so that even if people come against them and say that they've been doing things, that their good works will ultimately glorify God. We have to have an awareness and a commitment to the things of God, that even in today's age, when all things just are, it's the end of the world and we feel fine, maybe. Things are happening, and things are happening in the world, and as Christians, we need to hold so tightly to the things of God that even if people say things about us, ultimately, we are pointing them back to God. Now, this does not mean that we have to abstain from everything of the world, just the things that lead you to sin. Here at Geek Devotions, we clearly take in popular culture. We watch movies, we read books, we do things, but we do that even for things not to do with Geek Devotions. We always take in the lens of we are Christians, and how does this compare to the things of God? How can this be used to glorify God? Even if it's not something that we are doing for the channel, if it's something we are enjoying personally. But at the same time, we have to be mindful and vigilant that the things that we're partaking in that are not necessarily godly are not leading us to sin. They are not causing us to do things that God says not to do. We have to keep in mind what John says in chapter 17 And then 16 through 18 really encapsulates this thought process of we're not from this world. We are here. We are in the world to witness to others. But ultimately, this is not our home. We are part of God's family, which means that our home is with Him in heaven. Okay, guys, that was your devotion for the week. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to check us out on all the socials, the website. We have 2 episodes of We Read Allegedly that came out this month, all tying into our sci-frights theme, which this is the last devotion of our sci-frights. But we cannot wait until next month so that we can just make devotions off the things that we're partaking in anyway. And then we have Geekmas coming. So lots of exciting things coming down the pipeline. Okay, well, it is now time for the question of the week. The question of the week is this: what is your favorite classic story retelling? This is not the first devotion we have done on a Frankenstein retelling. This is not the first devotion we've done on Frankenstein. Frankenstein actually really fits in perfectly with our sci-frights, and there was an episode of We Read Allegedly where we talked about reading the original Frankenstein. So clearly we think Frankenstein's pretty cool. I don't know if it's my favorite classic story retelling because I love a good fairy tale, but what's yours? Put them in the comments down below and let us know. Okay, guys, all that being said, stay devoted, peace and love.